Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Another day, another trailer. Today we have a new trailer for Deus Ex Mankind Divided. It's called The Mechanical Apartheid. So without further ado, let's take a look and then I'll let you know what I think.
How did we get here?
Technology is advancing at a phenomenal rate. Artificial eyes to cybernetic limbs.
The promise of a better future.
We now have the choice to free ourselves from any kind of limitation.
Strength, power, speed. Now I focus on what really matters.
Have these augmentations really been tested?
There are people who say that what is happening is unnatural, that we're playing God. But people were scared of electricity, and where would the world be without
What
that?
happens if this technology falls into the wrong hands?
Diseases or viruses that could wipe out the human race.
Scenes of terror are being witnessed worldwide.
What kind of madness has gripped the mechanically augmented people? 9 million deaths confirmed and counting.
This is an attack on humanity and the universal values that we share.
These people were hacked. They had no control.
What is the appropriate response? And can we actually protect ourselves from this happening again?
I have no idea what happened. I would never...
You tried to kill me.
At what point will governments consider the idea of segregation for all our sakes?
We can be politically correct, or we can be foolish, but it's going to get worse and worse.
The Czech Republic adds its voice to a growing list of countries calling for the relocation of its augmented citizens.
No
Reports
choice.
of severe shortages of the drug neurophazine required to inhibit the rejection of augmentations.
And we will fight for our God-given rights to defend our will.
In a sign of growing anti-augmentation sentiment, thousands march.
It doesn't matter how many idiots you get out there on the street. We will not relinquish our limbs. Do you understand?
What is happening on this planet is a mass fear-mongering, and the mainstream media pushing this narrative.
The officer suffered severe facial
Incident after incident after
You need
incident.
to be afraid, because they are coming for you.
We will not be made slaves to corporations. We will rise up.
To them, we are the enemy.
Have you seen what your kind are doing?
My kind? You sound just like them.
We've come to a tipping point.
I can't live like this anymore.
This violence is completely out of control.
The road is being paved for this corporate militant
What do they have planned for us?
Why are they building concentration camps?
What's going on out there?
Reports of multiple
There's only one way to deal with these bloodthirsty fanatics.
A lot of people died. Now you want to take away our freedom? You will pay for it in blood.
Multiple detonations looks like car bombs.
The Augmented Rights Coalition denies responsibility.
The Segregation Act has been passed into law, effective immediately.
Augmented persons are being asked to move to safe and secure segregated districts.
I don't want them to take me.
We are still your neighbors, your brothers, your sisters, who love us. We lost everything. Our dreams, our innocence. Where are you taking her? Where are you taking her? Our humanity.
Well, I can imagine all that live action stuff was not cheap to make, to put it mildly. We might get a few more live action trailers because they might have shot a couple of together like this with, as much live action stuff as possible, just rather than, one production run, one crew, one cast and so on. So we might see more of it. But it's, gets across the story to a degree, what's going on in the game, but when you start playing it. But stress the bush part. It's all live action. There's no there's no in-game kind of full motion video or pre-rendered sequences, let alone actual gameplay footage. And as someone who kind of lived through the full motion video game era of kind of the early to mid 90s, doesn't really, it doesn't really sit well with me. I'd much rather look at a trailer of that length, or even half that length, that just had actual gameplay footage and in-game rendered sequences rather than what we've got here. It's alright, and the production quality is good. It certainly wasn't done in a half-assed way, but it's not anything that would get me terribly excited about the game. Although, again, I am a big fan of Deus Ex, like the previous one, owned and played the original 3. So, or was it 2? Was it 2 or was it 3? I cannot remember outright. I think it actually was 2, yes. That was it. I got on the original 2. But, yeah, it's alright for what it is, but it's, again, for me, rendered in engine and or preferably actual gameplay footage is a much bigger priority for me than some live action sequence. Hopefully they didn't spend too much money on it. So it's nothing terrible, but it's nothing, it doesn't get me excited anyway. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts on the trailer and on the game in question in the comments. If you haven't already liked this video, please do so, assuming that you liked it. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so for more content like this. This is Defub21, signing off. Toodaloo.